That's the long hair boys.
Oh yeah, you got long hair too.
I don't think I got long
I
hair.
saw y'all out the window. I was like, damn, this nigga look like R&B singer from the early 2000s.
That's because I had it half braided and like the other part was out.
Look like you about to be in the making of the band, the first one.
Dang.
Like, all the niggas that used to sing, they all look like thugs.
Sing it for a bit. Yo, yo.
Yo,
Welcome back to the Mark Our Words podcast. What's good with you, Chen?
I'm doing well, man.
I have a goal for our listeners for this podcast. We want to get it, you were here for the first time. We want to get this video to 10 likes.
10 likes.
10 likes. Sorry.
We have a giveaway coming out.
Yes.
For the first
10 likes.
10 likes, we will drop.
What are we dropping?
And
I'm about to
we
say,
will drop next week's episode.
hey, that's fair.
Okay, all right.
Exclusively on YouTube.
Exclusively on YouTube.
And Apple. And
And
Spotify. Google Podcasts.
Nah, that'll be dope. We could get 10 likes.
Give me 10 likes, man. Give me 10 likes. Share it. Like, comment. Please comment. Trust me. I want y'all to comment because that lets me know that you listened to the episode. Mm-hmm. And I will actually comment back. I will comment back. I can't speak for my co-host.
I won't.
Okay, but I will comment back if you're actually talking about something. I'm not gonna comment back if you say I like the
First.
show. Yeah, I'm not commenting second. Okay, I'm just gonna thumbs it up. But what's on your mind for today's episode?
Yeah, man. Trusting yourself long enough that when you're wrong, you eventually be right. Or trusting yourself long enough while you're wrong to be right. And what I mean by that is like certain times when you have ideas,
Yeah,
not everybody can see it. I'm not just talking about, and this kind of idea kind of derived from the idea of like, why do we trust experts so much? Mm-hmm. And it's like even in my life, there's certain people in my job or certain people in the industry where it's like, I think I could do it better than that. But then I started to think to myself, like, I don't know. What about, because they have the experience. They've been doing this a lot longer. They've been around the block a couple of times. I'm like, why don't they do it like this? Why is this? And then I kind of doubt myself. But it's like, how do you develop that skill or that I guess, that characteristic where you believe in yourself so much that despite the experts, despite the knowledge holders, despite the people that have been, who are the famous people in that industry, despite them saying that can't work, you still do it. You seeing designers, you seeing music, you seeing like technology, people who are, entrepreneurs go through a lot. Like they do it a different way and they're like, that would never work. And then it does work. Then everybody wants to come on that bandwagon. We worked with somebody,
exactly.
Where they was creating these offices and people were like, that's not real estate. You can't do that. That would never work. And then it started to work and then everybody started to invest in them. And they were the right people, even though they were wrong for a certain amount of time. Mm-hmm. It's like, how do you develop that skill? Do you have to be a psychopath? Because that's usually the people that kind of succeeded. The people that trust themselves so much despite the statistics and
I don't think it has to be a psychopath. I think it's the word belief, and whenever I think of belief, in my mind automatically goes to religion, right? Are you a psychopath if you believe there's a heaven? Are you a psychopath if you believe there's a hell? Some people would say yes, because you cultivate your life behind a belief. You know what I mean? Behind something. When Muslims pray 5 times, I think they pray 5 times a day.
they do.
It's
Mecca.
Yeah, they believe in it so much, and they even attribute their life and things that they get that are positive in their life due to a certain foundation that they believe grounded them in that. I think a lot of people are right, let me
Somebody gotta be wrong.
no, let me cultivate that, or let me fix that. Not right. I think a lot of people don't wait long enough to know if they're right or wrong.
Okay.
I think when they have an idea, or like they have a thought, and like you said, they go through doubt, they go through second guessing themselves. And truth be told, we are a society that only worships execution.
Yeah.
We don't care about all the extra stuff
Until the execution has been proven, then we might go back and say, "Oh well, this person had the idea
exactly,
first,
but
they had the tools,
but
they didn't have the."
In the midst of it, we don't believe nothing unless there's some type of proof of it. In our previous episode, months back, we talk about college, right? If you had a kid, right? Let's say you have a kid, and you come from a background or a family to where a degree is a staple. You know what I mean? So degrees such as doctor, accountant, lawyers, things of high stature that can support your life. Your kid comes to you and he says, "Dada," right?
Oh, okay.
So
he's like 2, 3,
he's
or arrested
no,
development.
no, he's 16.
Oh Lord,
he's 16. I'm just saying from your family. I'm just saying because you're Nigerian. I don't know what he gonna call you, father, right? Father, I want to go to school for art, right? As a parent, what would your reaction be? Just off of that statement alone. I want to get a degree in art.
Okay, you better get a scholarship.
I don't have a scholarship. I believe in myself.
Okay. Well, I believe in you too, son. I believe in you too. Make it happen. I believe in you.
Oh, are you gonna pay for my?
No. No. I believe in you.
Why won't you pay for my schooling?
Money is not believe money.
Okay.
If you believe it, and this is where you have to teach your son BS lessons. It's going to share that for years to come. You know, my father always said, if you believe it, you don't need money. Mm-hmm. You don't need funds. Your belief will get you far.
Now watch
Trust
this.
yourself.
Now watch this. You don't support of him going to school for art. I don't know why I still got this accent, but just follow me. But then it works. Mm-hmm. He goes to school, he gets an art degree, and he's like the biggest artist in the world. Mm-hmm. That's like you as a parent will worship the execution. You're not worshiping the idea of him going to school.
That's true.
For art, because you're like, the numbers say, number one, you probably shouldn't go to school for art, and that most artists is not sufficient. There's only a small number who actually make money off their name alone. You have who is my artist that I like from Brooklyn with the one who he died, right? Even though he was kind of big in his time, he's bigger now. He's bigger now in death. You know what I mean?
I think he was broke when he died.
That even supports the point. You know what I mean? So just the idea.
He was on heroin. Black History Month is coming out.
So just the idea of your child going to school, or the idea of something that's not traditional, something that the numbers prove is not almost doable, it's like we don't worship thoughts. We don't worship ideas. We only worship execution.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, so I guess my question is then, because a lot of times when you're trying to create something new, it takes multiple executions. And going back to the religion thing, that's a group of people. So you have other people who believe in the same thing you do, and you being able to share that belief
truth,
helps out when other naysayers say, "You know, there's no heaven. You know, there's no hell. You know, Allah is not real." Shout out to all my Muslim brothers out there. You know Jesus is not real.
You know the earth is flat.
You know the earth is flat. You know the earth is round. So you have people who share that belief.
Yeah.
But when it's just you, and you have to convince other people to believe in your idea, and if it's not working repeatedly,
That almost never works, though. That's the sad part.
what?
That you're like a standalone. Like, a lot of people don't live to see themselves proven right. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard
And
for.
when it does happen, it's like those 1, 2,
Yeah,
3
so that's why I'm
stories with
like
Steve Jobs.
No, exactly. But that's the sad. I think what you say, it happens. It happens more than we know of.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to happen on a mega scale. It doesn't have to be like, oh, now I built this mega company. But just a lot of people don't live to see themselves like be absolutely right. It's a movie that I saw on Netflix. I actually don't know if you saw it. Don't Look Up.
Yeah, I just saw it yesterday.
Leonardo DiCaprio. That's a good movie, right?
Man, he doesn't. His movies
He don't miss, bro.
have been up. Even the one with the ones when he was in the bear.
Yeah.
And this man, he kills every role.
I ain't gonna hold you.
He gotta take one L.
I ain't go. That's what I'm saying. Like, he didn't get. I like, even though he's one of my favorite actors.
Yeah.
I have so much respect for Meryl Streep, the way she acted in that movie.
Really?
As the president, because I'm like, everybody like Meryl Streep. I'm thinking it's one of those, like, white privilege, like, you know what I mean. But
nah, she killed
no,
it.
no. She's an amazing actress.
Who was the old Mark Zuckerberg? He said everything's gonna be fine. I need to go to the bathroom. Restroom.
That's what he was like. He was like, that's the, it showed him a couple scenes later. They both on the plane, leaving the earth. But the funny thing about it is,
you and Johnny,
the scientist was right. Right? That, a comet is coming. Spoiler alert. I give y'all time to click off. I won't. Right? Spoiler alert. That,
it's in the trailer.
Yeah. But the comet is coming.
Yeah.
The comet is coming to destroy Earth.
Yeah.
Right? And even then, there wasn't a moment that the scientists can feel some type of gratitude outside of the comet actually hitting Earth and destroying everybody, that everybody will say, they was right. Y'all are our heroes. And like, instead, they made it like a propaganda thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Something that's like, oh, we're going to take care of it. Things like that. Like, oh, matter of fact, don't look up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, not a lot of people live to see themselves right or wrong. Think of it even in the current situation we live in. And I know, like, we're not talking about anti-vax or pro-vax and things like that.
Shout
but
out to the anti-vax.
But there has to be a point to where you're not going to convince someone who is pro-vax to be anti-vax, and you're not going to convince someone who's anti-vax to be pro-vax. You just have to live and believe in your decision.
Yeah.
And I think that goes to your point about whatever decision you make, or like whatever decision you decide to build or create.
Yeah.
You have to believe it, because you have, and also find peace in people who won't believe in it and don't believe in it. You may not be able to sway them, and you can't base the success of the idea or the success of the thought on getting those group of people or that person to believe in that idea. Don't Look Up was such a good movie. I'm sorry.
But I mean, the other thing though is like, nobody wants to be wrong.
Exactly, but there's wrong people.
But I'm saying, like, you might, because, okay, let's take a scenario, right?
Okay.
You have an idea. You think it's a great idea. Let's say you're creating Netflix, and you're like, hey, I have an idea. We buy the DVDs, we give it out to people. And then the person say, and then the people who've been doing this for years, Blockbuster, all these, it's like, you would never get those DVDs back. They start giving you these reasons why. It's like, we tried this before.
Yeah.
This is the issues that we came across. This is why this idea won't work. And so what prevents you from saying, okay. Because nobody wants to be wrong. What prevents you from saying, you know what, F it. I know you guys are the experts. I know you've done this before. I know you guys have been doing this for a while. I'm going to still do it. like what gives you that drive to do that versus like saying, they're right. Like, these are the experts. And I don't want to waste 4, 5, 10 years. Like, what causes you to be, you know what, because you've done this before, I'm going to listen to you guys and just scratch this idea versus try this idea?
I really don't know. I really don't. I guess people view their ideas, depending on which idea it is, as like their own children. I heard some people say,
that's true.
Like sometimes you have to grieve an idea because that's like a child and things like that. And I'm like, okay, that's a little extreme, but I never had an idea that I was so passionate about that I had to kill it. That I had to like put it away. There's things that I'm passionate about, but I'm just like, if it works, I'm more focused on execution. But to answer your question, I don't know. I don't know what made that guy say, your way of always doing it is going to be outdated, and it's going to be proven wrong because we're Netflix and everything is going to streaming. I don't even know how you even have that vision, because if you really look about how Netflix was back in the day, they was doing it almost the inefficient way.
Yeah.
Where they was mailing it to you. You know what I mean? So it's like, it wasn't even like
you could hold it as long as you want.
Like, so that's why I'm like, Blockbuster, I think the only problem with Blockbuster, which proven to be correct for their company, was that in order to rent from Blockbuster, you had to be a member from Blockbuster. You couldn't just come in there and just rent a
Really?
No, you couldn't. So it was like almost like a like you have a Blockbuster card or something like that. But how can you be so forward thinking? I don't know.
And know that you're gonna be correct.
It's weird.
But then again, it might be a probability. It might be like the lottery ticket. Some people win the lottery. Mm-hmm. There's some people that walk away with money. They pick the number was right, and they won. Most people don't. And so it could be one of those things where we just don't hear the stories of most people who don't win the lottery of being right.
I listened to it's a podcast called Peer to Peer with Low and Agent. Agent 00, just in case y'all don't know who Agent and Low is. And they both dropped out of college. And Agent, I think he's Ethiopian, if I'm wrong.
Or Eritrean.
Yeah.
One of the two.
Yeah, forgive me if I'm wrong. And Low makes money. You get what I'm saying? Like, he makes a lot of money. And his parents still talk to him about, when are you going to finish college? He's like, no, I'm not going. And Low was sharing his experience of, my parents said the same thing. I think he went to school for accounting. And they said, hey, you plan on going back to school? He said, maybe, but now, no, I'm making too much money. You know what I mean? And it's not until, I'm sure they shared, I don't want to retell their story, but saying that you wanted to be a YouTuber, you're dropping out of school for YouTube back in the day. YouTube is a glamorous, glorious thing now, but 10 years ago, I even say less than 10 years ago, it wasn't a like fast track thing to money. Yeah. So for them to just be passionate about, like, think about it. Back in the day, we played games. I played games more than you did, right? I didn't have the idea. I didn't have the forward thinking idea of, you know what? I should record myself and actually get paid for the time that I'm wasting. See, for me, it's wasting time because I didn't have the idea to monetize it or to even think that far. But for them, it's like now it's like their career. You know what I mean? So that's why I said I think it's based on who. And I think some people just have it. I think some people really be like, oh, this have to work.
So they make it work.
Yes.
So they make themselves right.
Yes. It's like I don't think Like in the process of Netflix becoming Netflix, one wrong step could have delayed the process or just canceled it altogether.
Yeah.
So it's like, imagine if they would have had that talk with Blockbuster and they said, you know what? Let's do what we want to do, but at the same time, let's still stick to like renting DVDs, physical copies, because I talked to the experts and just because that usually happens. You usually fail when you try to cover all your bases.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you like, let me just build a safety net where maybe we won't have a lot of Netflix stores, but we have some Netflix stores. Yeah. But at the same time, we focus on streaming. But that kind of shows kind of doubt in your idea if you really believe it. So I don't really know what makes you so forward thinking and so convicted in your beliefs and like in your idea to be like, you know what, I'm gonna make this work and things like that. I don't know.
I know for, since we're talking about early companies, but I know for like Airbnb, how they started, they said they seen it themselves. And they knew that other people didn't see what they saw when they first started. And it wasn't even like, it wasn't even like a business idea. They just, there was people coming in to their city at the time.
San Fran.
It was San Fran?
I think so. I heard this on How I Built This.
And it was a convention going on. And so certain people can't get hotels, so they said, hey, you could come to our spot if you want to.
They run it through the house with their mattresses, trying to make it up.
And so they was like, all right, cool. So they came to the spot and to their home, and then they had like a bed and breakfast for them.
Yeah.
And so, and then it was wonderful. The people enjoyed the experience. They said it was great. And because they had that experience, the two founders, they said they know this is viable. Like they know this because they seen the execution themselves. And when they brought it to other people and people said it won't work, it was like, oh, because they didn't see what we saw. It's like seeing like it's like Superman. Like, no, that's Superman. It's like, no, that's Clark Kent. It's like, oh, you didn't see him fly. That's why you call it, like, you don't know that Superman.
So y'all never question why all his suits look bulky because he got a whole suit under. Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, you ever seen the little pouch, the little scrunch up part in the back? What? That's his cape, my guy.
He rolled it up.
That don't make any sense. But yeah, so I think it's the same thing, and I think a lot of times that's probably how it is. Where like even Steve Jobs, when he first seen the computer, he's like, "Oh wow, there's so many things you could do with this." And when he brought it to other people, people probably just like, "I don't know about this.
Yeah.
Why would anybody want? Like, why would somebody want a personal laptop?" It's like, what? I want a personal laptop. Why wouldn't? And so I think you have these small little executions.
Maybe that's what the problem is. Maybe it's the idea itself. Maybe like it's and a thought and an idea is not, you can't touch it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's why people make demos and make little what is another word for that? Is that the word, demos? Like
demos,
prototypes and things like that. To where it's like, this is not it, but I'm trying to show you what's in my head. You know what I mean? Because it's like, oh, and I thought the iPhone was the dumbest idea.
Really?
I really did. I thought it was ugly. I actually remember my brother had the first iPhone. I think he did, because at that time it only came out for AT&T,
and they only had like 3 or 4 apps.
So it's like it was just one bulky thing with one button, and I was like, I got more buttons than you, you know.
Flip.
I got more buttons than you.
Got the sidekick.
But then, like, the more you start seeing it, you're just like, what really sold me was the iPod. I think the iPod is probably one of the greatest inventions of all time, in my opinion.
More than the iPhone?
I think so. Well, no. Logically, no. But I enjoyed my iPod more than anything in the last 15 years and counting. Because the iPhone, remember, I'm kind of still new to iPhone. Like.
Oh, you're not?
I am. I only had an iPhone for how long?
Like 5 years now.
That's still new.
The iPhone really only been popping for the last 10.
My whole point is
maybe 11, 12.
My whole point is there's phones out there. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't have to have an iPhone to be able to communicate to somebody.
Yeah.
But to listen to music, this is before the music was on the phone, by the way.
Yeah.
But to listen to music,
no,
I don't think music was on the phone with like the first couple of iPhones back in the day.
Because that was the whole thing when he presented. He was like, "You have your iPhone." He was talking about the iPad.
Talk about the first one.
Yeah, he was talking like, we have a new iPod,
Mm-hmm.
we have a new phone, we have a new something like a new internet thing,
Mm-hmm.
like computer. So it was like a computer, phone, and then iPod. Like this is how he was presenting. Like
really?
We have a new these three things,
mm-hmm.
and it's all in one. And then he revealed the iPhone.
That's lit.
That was a lit presentation.
That's lit.
That's probably the most.
That's probably the most iconic presentation of all.
Because everybody was like,
it's three things.
Three things come out, and people was like, "What? We have a new computer? We have a new phone? We didn't even know Apple made phones, and we have a new iPod." And he was like, "All in one." That's why I was like, the iPhone's not the greatest thing.
Matter of fact, you're right.
Okay, nobody did that. An iPod, a phone, and a computer all in one? That is impossible.
So that lets you know the idea is do idea really matter? Because at the end of the day, if he wasn't a good salesman, well, and the thing about being a good salesman, which they tell you is the product sells itself once it's good. There's nothing you can say. Do not go up to people saying, "Hey, sell me this pencil." Like, don't do the Wolf of Wall Street. Like, the product sells itself.
Yeah.
But I think that's the point of prototypes and demos to that point. To put the idea, like, to make it real.
Yeah.
People don't believe. Your son is not going to come to you, your fake son. It's not going to say, "Dada, I want to draw." And, like, you never see him.
Man draw.
Exactly. It's like, why are you wasting... Well, you ain't paying for it. Like, why are you wasting your time? You know what I mean? But if he was to draw and be in galleries, and actually you actually see kind of like his life becomes the prototype. You know what I mean? Of like, oh,
he really does this.
He's really executing the idea.
Yeah.
So it's like so it's kind of like, do we got to start worshiping the execution more? It's kind of like, even though this is a little too gangster for the podcast, there's a lyric that says people respect the person that gets shot more than they respect the shooter. It's
like drugs and prison. Yeah.
I respect the shooter, they say. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, don't shoot nobody. I put a disclaimer on the bottom. I don't stand by those lyrics. Those lyrics do not go with any of how I live or how I think. But it's like the execution. I use this podcast as an example, right?
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me say this first. I also think it comes with thinking.
Yeah.
Thinking and working.
Yeah.
I think that's powerful. And I give you an example. When you came to me with the idea of the podcast, right? And you was like, this is what I want. I think the beauty of working with each other, and correct me if I'm wrong, or just tell me how you feel if it's differently. This podcast is nothing without Invention. Nothing, right? It's like most of it is, but there's a part of it to where when you begin to work on it and you begin to do it, what you thought in the beginning kind of dies because your thinking is not proving it anything. So it's like, no, it needs to look like this, or it needs to be edited this way, or it needs to sound like this. So while you're working on something, because you've proven something, you get new ideas, which is sometimes better ideas. Mm-hmm. So what happens is your old vision without the work kind of dies because you going in blind. Yeah. You know what I mean? What happens is, especially when you work with somebody, now you create a new vision.
Yeah.
With work, with actually demos and prototypes to actually execute a better thought out idea.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, now I really know what I want the podcast to be.
It's like mini pivots.
Yeah. It's like now, shout out to the pivot.
Shout out to the pivot.
Oh, I'm pointing to the computer. Shout out to the pivot.
Shout out to
Freaky
the pivot.
Fred, Shannon,
Chad.
Ryan Clark. Chad is on I Am Athlete. He is not on the
Brandon coming to the pivot. We know it. Hey, yo, Brandon, join the pivot, man.
He's not leaving his company to go to that'd be nasty.
Leave it to your wife. I am woman. You know, let that be the flagship. Don't say anything.
I'm not saying anything.
I love that show.
Okay. I love it too. Shout out to Michi. But my whole point is, like, those mini pivots actually make you come up with a more grounded, educated idea of what you envision for the part. Now you can say with what happened.
I know you don't like me talking about sports.
Oh my gosh, man.
But it's like a route.
It's like the who?
It's like a route. You have your what do you call it?
A wide receiver.
Wide receiver.
Jesus.
Run a route. He hits the route. He hits it. Catches it. But it's still on to him to pivot, to move around, to get to the touchdown. Because if he gets the touchdown, that's because, that route was good. Yeah. But he had to do what he needed to do to get to that, to maneuver between those people. So I mean, the vision is there just for the sub to get the engine going.
But that dies.
Yeah.
Like once you actually put work in, you actually need to birth something new. Yeah. To like actually something that's more educated, more grounded. And now you can actually say, you know what, Chris? I like it when you edit this way. I don't like it that way. Yeah. It'd be crazy if you were to say what you don't like in the beginning before anything. Yeah. You're like, I like it edited this way. I like for us to talk about this. I kind of see how we're leaning towards this. Let's work on executing that. Yeah. Because now you actually have demos and prototypes and actually data to go behind the idea. Yeah.
No, I agree. No, I think we said everything, man.
Did we? We got to talk at least a little 10 minutes. 10 more. It's only like 30 minutes. So football.
Hey, I don't got nothing else to say about it. Be like, look, man. I mean, so, well, I do want to say this, though. Okay. When do you trust the experts, though? Like it is glorious to be the lone wolf that everybody sees eventually as the Steve Jobs, as a person that was right all along. Yeah. That's cool. You know, everybody likes that. Amazing. It's an amazing feeling. Yeah. The whole world say you was wrong. Now the whole world saying we was wrong. Mm-hmm. You was right. Like that was an amazing feeling. But like I said in the beginning, like nobody wants to be wrong. So when do you say, you know what? Not because you doubt yourself, but because you read through what they was telling you. You rethought the plan, you execute it, and then you actually humble yourself and say, you know what? This idea is not. Do you still execute to try?
I think so. Okay. With me in regular life, I'm gonna trust an expert in a field that I'm totally not in. Okay. Like that's the only time that I'm ever going to trust an expert 100%. I am not gonna go to what is my space guy, the black guy,
Neil deGrasse.
Yeah, I'm not gonna ever question him about Earth
or space.
Space. Yeah. I'm not in that field. I'm not studying to be in that field.
You have no care.
I have no care to be right in that field. But if I'm Netflix and I've been doing my own studying, my own testing, and my own theory, I'm in a way becoming an expert in this. I'm not there yet because remember we gotta get to the execution part. But it's like you can't dismiss me just off the mere fact that you just feel that I'm wrong. You would have to actually explain to me, because the data that I'm coming to you as an expert in myself, as expert myself. Like, think of it as doctors, right? You have doctors that have been a doctor for over 30 years and things like that. And you have doctors who just became doctors their first couple years in. That doctor who have 30 years of experience can't tell that doctor who just became a doctor that he's not a doctor. Like we're both in the same field. Yes, you may not know more than me, but I just can't dismiss you off the mere fact of you don't know nothing. Yeah. It's like, no, like we're both in the same field. Next Blockbuster should have at least, and trust me, hindsight is 2020. It's easy to say Blockbuster,
Sure, yeah.
but if you was having the success that Blockbuster was having,
you're not listening to nobody.
people was renting movies. That's wow. Like people not buying movies. They're like, why buy when you can rent it? And they was making millions of dollars just off of this alone. So like hindsight is 2020. I'm not here to condemn them, but the idea would be to be intrigued by it. You know what I mean? It's like something you told me years ago. You said, it is crazy to me. This is what you said. You said, it's crazy to me that Polaroid didn't invent Instagram. Because it's like, this worked. These little disposable cameras, like that's just, they take pictures. Like, why wouldn't they create the picture app? You know what I mean? With filters. Some people are just, like, this is what they were supposed to do. Like, to get this far, and I don't know if you can. What's the word?
You get comfortable in that space.
Yeah, it's.
Like, I don't think Netflix thinking about the new Netflix.
No, and trust me, there's somebody out here already thinking, oh, in the metaverse,
Yeah.
you just get to think of the movie and it just plays.
Yeah.
Like no, like somebody's already thinking of that, or did I think of that? You know what I mean?
Fast forward. You want?
So there's people jobs. I don't feel bad for Blockbuster because the owner of Blockbuster is a millionaire. He ain't hurting. You know, only thing you get is just public jokes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He made or she made their fair money and they did what they were supposed to do.
Yeah.
But other people haven't stopped living. People gonna keep creating things better than you. Do you think there's gonna be something better than the iPhone?
Yeah.
So it's just how it happens.
Yeah.
But the idea may be better than the iPhone. But unless you have a Steve Jobs that can come up and be like, we coming up with the new this, and the new this, and that can present it, create a prototype, create something that is actually like that we can actually see and execute it, then we gonna forever say iPhone is the greatest invention of all time. Because trust me, there's a lot of great iPhone ideas.
Yeah.
A lot of great phone. There's people out here that's still debating if Android is better than Apple. It's not. I had both, right? I had both. The only thing that's great about Android is the battery life, but we live in a society where everybody carry their chargers. your car got charger ports, you know.
You're probably gonna walk into a house.
Yeah, exactly. Just charge your phone. So it's like, no, there's a lot of great ideas than the things we have right now.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot of people that can execute it and things like that.
That's true.
So I don't know, man. You just gotta believe in yourself.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think, we should value the execution more than the visionary. It's one thing to have the vision, but like Steve Jobs would not be Steve Jobs if the iPhone wasn't the iPhone.
That's crazy to think about that, right?
Yeah, he'd be like, he a great speaker, but the iPhone was terrible. Like, that was the worst.
Exactly.
Same thing with Tesla. Tesla is only Tesla now because their cars are nice. The cars are nice. The cars were breaking down nobody would want to drive it. The little self-driving thing wasn't up to par. Nobody really would care that much. Yeah, a couple of people crashed.
Shout out to them.
Huh?
Oh, I mean, R.I.P. Hold on. Did they die or was it just a crash?
Dead.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I thought you.
But yeah, so it's like, even though they pass away, they for the most part, people are safe. People are actually going to sleep in the car while the car's driving. So it's like you have to execute for your vision to be a reality. And then I think the only way you get validated is through the execution. Because, these people were talking. Amazon's another one. I remember listening to an old Amazon interview, and the way he was talking about, like, what we're trying to create is not a store.
Books and music. Yeah.
Like we are thinking way beyond that. We want to create a experience for customers. Like, we're for the customers. We're not here for money. We're not here because people's like, when you gonna stop when you gonna start making money?
Because they wasn't profitable.
It was just making. It was creating warehouses after warehouses after warehouses. Like, why are you creating so many warehouses? It's like, we have a vision, but it doesn't matter about the vision unless it executes. And now you see all those years of planning, of buying warehouses and building warehouses. Now they delivering packages to you within the next day or a day or two,
or at least charging you for next day and then coming 2 days later. No beef. I'm just saying.
So and they did say they were gonna have drones start delivering. They didn't execute on that, but that's
I'm not judging you.
But yeah, I agree. I think the vision is one thing. And it's cool to talk about the vision, but if you don't execute on the vision, then what's the point?
I think it also, and this could be one of the last things I say, to your point of how you said how you go do your New Year's your New Year's goals. You said that you're going to break it up to like 3 months and things like that. I think it's great to have an overall goal, an overall vision, but to keep yourself sane, you have to create some type of checkpoints to keep you motivated. Yeah. That's why I asked y'all to give us 10 likes on this video, because that would give me a checkpoint of, okay, we had 2 likes. Now we have 10. Little things to keep yourself sane, because you can be right and drive yourself insane trying to convince everybody else. I'm telling you, Amazon, we doing this, but sometimes they can see, even though they wasn't profitable, they can see how everybody else moving, and they could be like, Walmart, they not really building their online experience, things like that. Yes, we're not profitable. We don't make as much money as Walmart, but I can see everything is going towards the internet. And these stores' experiences, I go on the internet and it's not the same. It's actually worse. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's little things that gave them checkpoints that let them know we on the right path. Yeah. That like we on the thing. And only we know as the spectators based on execution. We don't know the checkpoints. Only thing we want is the iPhone. All we want when we get that reminder on our phones or that reminder and our computers and things like that Steve Jobs is coming to us in this convention and he's going to reveal it to us. We just want what you got for us. We don't know what he went through to with the iPod, the iMac, and iPad, and the iPhone. So it's like, it's all execution. Yeah. Give yourself little things to keep yourself sane. To be like, oh, you know what? So when I go to my dada and say I want to go to college for art, enter some art competitions. Win some. Make me feel good about spending $25,000 a year.
Probably going to be 40 at that point.
But it's like,
this art school, if it's just pure art school, it's probably going to be like 800.
One of the editors, I just found out about Ampman, the YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. The editor, which is kind of crazy, the editor, his name is Chris, and he's from Maryland, right? And he comes from Nigerian parents. And he said that right now that his father don't talk to him because he dropped out of school. Oh man, he's making money, but his mother supports him. But his father don't even know that he's like, don't even know what he's doing right now. He said, but he said it just didn't make sense for him because they wanted him to go to editing school since he's so passionate about editing. He said, for me to go to editing school, that's $150,000. Oh no! By the end of his schooling career, for him to do things that an agent was telling him, there's things that people who went to those schools can't do what you do because I hired them, and they was trash. Yeah. So you got a $150,000 ticket bill that you have to pay, and just because they want you to go to school and get this thing. I bang with A&P, man. I really do. I like y'all.
Shout out to A&P, man. Invite us to the podcast.
Any means possible. I don't think they have a podcast.
Oh, well, peer-to-peer. Invite us to the podcast.
Peer-to-peer.
Peer-to-peer. Invite us to the podcast.
I don't think they're going to invite us. You got to get the name right at least. Invite me. I had it right.
Come on, man.
I go and represent us.
We're Africans. Agent?
Agent. Okay.
I'm Nigerian. I know I'm on the other side of the coast.
But anything else you want to share, man?
Nah.
You got anything coming out? Like, music? even though you're not an artist?
We should make a song.
Why should we make a song?
I was thinking about a couple themes, and you play piano and drums.
You play piano too,
and bass on the piano.
so I play piano. But you play piano too, so
you could change like the little option to put bass on it, and then you like.
So basically, you have nothing to say.
No, I'm gonna probably sing or rap.
No, I mean you have nothing to say. I asked you, do you have anything? And you said we should make a song together. So no,
nah, that's it.
So no, okay. Blessings.